So, Sparking Zero rank. When I mean it's a war zone in there, it's a war zone. Don't get me wrong, it's super fun. I'm currently on a 31 streak in rank and I am loving it. I'm definitely gonna go for S sometime this weekend. But what I wanted to do before I start doing that is give you guys a guide on how to rank up effectively. So what that means, I'm gonna give you the tools, or at least tell you the tools you need in order to rank up at least to A rank. So before we get into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get it. So let's say this is your first time playing Sparking Zero and you ask, what is the most important thing you want to learn first in Sparking Zero? A lot of people may think it's combos. No, defense is the most important thing you want to learn in Sparking Zero. You want to know all the tools you have to get out of combos, to defend yourself, and even to move out the way. So that includes blocking, movement, Z countering, super countering, perception, sonic sway, and vanishing. All right, guarding. What I see a lot of people don't know about guarding, you can guard up, you can guard down. A lot of people just guard neutral. That is the worst way to guard because it's easy for people to get in on you. Let's say the opponent's guarding. Now I want to go low. I can trip him just because he's only holding neutral. But if he was to hold down, he will successfully block that attack and reset the neutral. You want to pay attention to where your opponent is finishing or trying to link combos, because you know, like if you press triangle up, triangle down, triangle to the side, they all do different things after you do your rush attacks. So you want to know that. Blocking low and high is something you must know if you want to get higher in ranks, because people will abuse this so often. I'm telling you, knowing when to guard high or guard low is always going to depend on each match. You have to identify your opponent's tendencies so then you can use the guard system more effectively. So if you see a person always going low, you may want to guard low more often. Now, super counter. I think super counter is like one of the biggest topics in Sparking Zero because it is not an easy thing to get consistent, but it's definitely something that you need in your gameplay to be successful at high ranks. A super counter allows you to counter your opponent without using ki. And ki is the most important thing to have in this game. Guy who has most ki wins the game. I do have an in-depth guide for super counter, so if this doesn't help, please just go ahead and watch it. Link will be in the description. So super counter, you just pressing up square as the opponent tries to attack you. You want to match the timing, and yes, you can get it consistently if you pay attention to the animation. I'll tell you the 3 opportune times when I go for super counters. First time, initial rush attack, I try to go for a super counter. Then I try to go for a super counter on follow-ups. And I like to go for super counters when somebody is trying to extend their combos. Those are the 3 best points to super counter. And the way to practice this, just go to opponent settings, set them to rush attacks to practice the rush attacks, and to practice the follow-ups, just set it to smash attacks and follow-ups 1. Now, let's talk about perception. I'm using standard controls, so my perception is just set to circle. I know it's different on classic, so that's why I usually suggest people to go to standard. And it counters rush attacks, smash attacks, and beam blast if you have enough ki. And if you use perception at the right time, you can get a sonic sway. Sonic sway is of course what you want to get when you do use perception. You get to diminish your opponent's ki, but of course that's a timing thing. It's less strict than a super counter, but they're kind of on the same point on when you want to use perception. It's literally on hit. As an opponent hits you, you want to press perception, and that's how you activate sonic sway. Let's say I'm in a rush attack, somebody's attacking me. Did you know you can press perception in the midst of guarding? If not, you're throwing a lot of defense on the table. This is the most opportune time I feel to use it, when you're in a block stun and a person is just rushing attacking you without thinking, to get them off you. Of course, as I said, you want to get the sonic sway. The sonic sway is on hit, so you got to pay attention to the animations. You want to press circle as he hits you. I like to go for the Sonic Sway on the extension of a combo. That's the best time I think it is. Or on the initial hit. If you know somebody's about to go for a rush attack, go ahead and press Perception. A lot of times you'll get Sonic Sway, and if you don't, you'll knock them back with the Perception. This is why I say Sonic Sway is way less strict than Super Counter. Because at least if you miss the Sonic Sway, you can possibly still get a Perception counter on hit to knock your opponent back. You should go for it, but you don't want to be that person that's just spamming circle over and over, just hoping you get it, because I'm telling you, it's going to affect you in the long run. Now it's time to talk about Z counters, the infamous Z counters. That's pretty much on a follow-up. You vanish behind your opponent, and that's how you end up in that mini game, countering left and right. In order to Z counter, right before your opponent hits you on the follow-up, you want to press your guard button at the right time, thus giving you a Z counter. The Z counter is much easier than a super counter. It's less strict, and you can pretty much know when the Z counter when you see swipe animation. You know you can go for a Z counter. I'm telling you, by the time you get to B rank, people know how to Z counter, and whoever has the most key is gonna win it. And in order to practice that, the same settings as super counter, go to opponent settings, set it to follow-up, smash attack and follow-up 1, and you're good from there. Let's talk about vanishing. Vanishing is a slept-on mechanic. People don't understand the points where you can vanish. You can vanish super attacks, you can vanish ultimates, rush attacks, and smash attacks. The times I like going for vanishes is during smash attacks, beam attacks, and ultimates. 9 times out of 10 with ultimates, you're gonna have to vanish it because a lot of them are unblockable. So you have to learn the timing. And it kind of works like every other counter in the game. You press your guard button right before the attack is about to hit you. I think vanishing is most important for supers and beam blast. Those are things you do not want to get hit with. There's 2 more tools you need in Sparking Zero. One of them is movement. So if you don't know, you have far movement, you have close movement, which when you slow down, see far movement, you could dash around like this, you can ascend, descend, you can do that in close. When you're in a far movement zone, it's easier for you to avoid beam blast. Of course, he can't hit you from there. He can Z dash, he can Z burst dash. It's good to know those things. If you guys don't know, you can dash cancel your Z dash by just pressing X in any direction. This is something you want to mess with. I do have a full movement guide on that to know that. Also, when you're up close, you can sidestep. Use sidesteps to avoid opponent attacks, throws, etc. You could go back, front. You have all directions. You utilize this to confuse your opponents. And then you have combos. Combos, I think, is the last thing you need to learn, because it's honestly just square, 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 dash in, square, square, square again, up or down. So pretty much what you want to do with combos, you just want to mix those things up. Go back, key blast, hit them 3 times, hit them 2 times. So you just want to do certain things like that just to mix them up. If you guys want a full combo guide, I could definitely do that too. But honestly, if you get those defensive tools down, I promise you, you will rank up much faster than your homie looking at you watching this video. But if you guys need any more guides outside of this, please don't hesitate to hit me up in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. TDN signing out. Yo, yo, yo.